kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it again on it's not a Thursday, it's a Monday. I got my days all screwed up, but that's okay. It's because usually I do this show on Sunday, but it's Monday and I'm doing it today because I was busy yesterday. It was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everybody out there that celebrated, and hopefully you all had a good one. To all the pops out there and grandpas and everything else, all the dads. I had a pretty good day. It was hotter than shit, but I did go and play golf in the morning, and thanks Infinity, appreciate that. And yeah, we had a good time playing some golf, and it got hot at the end, like real hot. But we did it and it was good, so no big deal. And I didn't play half bad. So other than that, yeah, I got to celebrate on Saturday with the kids. Hey, thanks, Trent. I appreciate that. I'm glad to have spent time with you and Haley and my pops on Saturday. We went to Top Golf, so a lot of golf for me, but I'm a dad, what can I say? But yeah, we played some golf and played around at Top Golf and had some food and some drinks. It was a good time. So I was happy. It was a good time overall. Good weekend. My older daughter Haley last night made me dinner. So that was great. I supervised a little bit because she's not comfortable with certain things and she's never done it before. So I'm teaching as well as not having to do the whole thing. So I was happy. I was actually good with that. So we had a good night of thank you, babe. I appreciate that. We had a good night of eating good food for 2 nights in a row, and everything went well. So I got this dope sign back here that you see, Buffalo Trace, because I am a Buffalo Trace fan. That's what that let's see, right there, that lamp. As you can see, the chat's working a little bit there. I did get my pop-ups to work, so it's still a work in progress. But anyway, where the chat is, you can see that lamp back there. I had a friend of mine give me that. It's an actual Buffalo Trace bottle made into a lamp, so that's pretty sick. And then my daughter's boyfriend got me this sign. So yeah, you know, it looks dope. I mean, it honestly looks really great. It looks pretty good on camera, but it looks a lot better in person. The light's still pretty bright for the camera, but I might be able to fix some things to get it to not be so bright. But you can see what it is. It's got the Buffalo, it says Buffalo Trace. It's a neon sign. It's dope. So yeah, had a good time. And then I got this chair too. I got a nice new chair. It's I don't remember what the brand is, but I know my boy Mike D had this chair. Any of you technically unsound listeners from the past might remember Mike D. But he had this chair and said it was really comfortable and nice, and I thought about getting it for a long time, and I got it as a gift. So it's fucking comfortable. I like it so far. And now I got a few good chairs for when we have Trent said DSP brand. Nice. Okay, yes, thank you. That does sound familiar now that you say that. So yeah, it's a nice chair and I like it a lot. So I got that as a gift. And now I have 3 really good chairs for when we do the watch party. If we have a 4th, I'll still have the smaller, not so great one. But hey, it's a work in progress. And if I ever get a bigger studio space, then I'll have all pretty good chairs. So it's good. It all works out for the best. So I appreciate everybody out there for the happy Father's Day wishes and all that good stuff. Thank you for my family, for all the fun and good times we had, and the gifts, and my pops for joining in as well. I'm glad we got to spend some time together. And my buddy Bruce, that's who I went and played golf with. It was a good time. So good weekend overall. Here we are on Monday, getting ready to talk some combat sports. We had some good events. There was a lot of combat sports going on this weekend. So I can't cover all of it. I cover the things I know the best. And for me, the 2 biggest were UFC Atlanta, the fight night that happened on Saturday, and also DBX2, Dirty Boxing, their second official event. It's the Mike Perry run organization, Dirty Boxing. I've talked about it quite a few times here, and I did an interview with Rob Wolf, and I released that interview last week. So hopefully you got to see it, and if you didn't, go check it out. But man, these were the UFC. I would say the event was pretty good in comparison, especially to some of the events recently. It was a pretty good event. I thought there was some really good fights on it that made it worth it for me. I should have loaded up the picture here. It was kind of funny. Um, we're at Top Golf and Saturday night, it's like that was the best night for everybody to do it. So we're at Top Golf and I'm watching the fight still. I know it's kind of stupid and whatever, but I do this show and I got to keep up. So, and I was really excited for these fights. I just really wanted to see Rob Wolf fight. And I was hoping that he got that win, and he did. And we'll hit that up here in a minute when we get into it. But then also I was excited for that UFC Atlanta event too. So I was watching. Luckily, I have one of these foldable phones. If you've never seen the phone I have, this is my phone. So it folds up. So I have a good amount of real estate as far as where, how much space I have to watch things. And I had double screen. And I got it to work just right, where basically, let's see if I can show it. Basically, my phone was two screens for me, and that was pretty sick, I thought. Let's see. Maybe I don't have it. Did I delete it? I might have deleted it. Damn it. That's okay. No big deal. But I thought it was funny, and I was able to watch both events. So I didn't get to watch closely, but I went back and saw and watched a lot of highlights and a lot of other stuff. I got to our text. There will be a pic. Oh, that's right. He's saying Infinity's giving me the heads up, because I that's why I took the picture, because Infinity was texting me about the fights, and that's where the picture came from. So I don't know. Oh, the lights are bright. Let's see if you can see that. It looks like I have like two things set up, like two phones on top of each other, but that's actually my phone just opened up like this. And yeah, thanks for the heads up, Infinity. I kind of forgot all about that. But of the double screen, yeah. So yeah, I got to do that and I got to watch, so it was cool. It was fun. And I'm happy with a lot of the outcomes. And again, the UFC, it's a hit or miss, and they're not all the fights were great, but I thought it was a pretty good event overall. So I'm hoping that other people liked it as well. I mean, I don't have a stake in it, but you know what I mean. There was some really good fights, and there was a lot of decisions, but those decisions were still pretty exciting, I would say. So it wasn't a horrible event, and I've heard mixed reactions to all of it, really. But for me, it was good. I thought it was a good event, and maybe I was just caught up in the good vibes all around that night. But I enjoyed it. So we're gonna hit that up here in just a second. I am trying to see if I can. Up the size of things here. Let me see how that goes. All right, so we'll see how that works out for me. And then, yeah, and then let me get to my sponsor, because I don't want to forget that. Noctane Smelling Salts. This will get me a little more alert right now because I'm all over the place. But Noctane Smelling Salts, of course, love having them as a sponsor. I use this shit all the time. It's great. Hit that QR code, go to their website. I have a link in the description below. It keeps you nice and alert, wakes you up, and it's a good time. If you're a power lifter, you probably already know about it, about smelling salts and what they're used for, because they use them a lot. But they're making their way around, and a lot of people are using them. Rob Wolf is actually sponsored by a different kind of smelling salts. It's actually like a liquefied smelling salt, which is crazy. I was looking into it a little bit. I don't remember the name, but yeah, so he has some videos doing smelling salts too. It's kind of funny. But let me take a little whiff real quick. Oh, there it is. Oh, ow. I forgot to close my eyes. Oh, that's the most potent bottle, the red cap. makes my eyes nice and watery, but wakes me up. There's other potencies. You can get a lower one if you want to just kind of give it a try. Make sure if you buy a bottle, you shake it before you use it, because that's what activates everything in the bottle. There's different scents as well. I'm actually going to try a new scent when I get my next bottle. But they have an array of scents that you can try to kind of mask that harsh scent, but it's still going to hit you and wake you up. So it's a good product. I like it a lot. Go check it out. Link in the description below, or hit that QR code, go to their webpage and check it out. It's appealing to the eyes and it's informative. So thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship. Appreciate that. I'm going to take a sip here as I drop my coaster. All right, and we're going to get to it. And we're going to start off with, of course, DBX2. So, Saturday night, DBX2 in Miami, Coconut Grove at the hangar. You know, this is their second official event. They had a premiere event, which was kind of a private event. It was invite only, and it had that real gritty, dirty vibe. I think Rob Wolf said it was like that Def Jam Fight for New York or underground video game from back in the day. I remember it. I just forget the name all the time. But yeah, that was pretty sick. And it, you know, the lighting was dim. The spotlights were really just on the ring, and you know, there was a lot of celebrities and stuff there, and it was a cool event. And then they did their first official event in the hangar in Coconut Grove again, as they did this time. But this, I mean, it really is an airplane hangar, right? But the look of everything is nice. Like it doesn't look all like real dark and gritty again like it did the first time, but the venue's really nice. You know, they're not in stadiums, arenas, or anything like that yet, but you know, this is just their second event, and they've got people in the crowd that are, you know, prominent people in the combat sports space, celebrities in general. There's pro sports players and stuff out there. So I mean, it's getting pretty popular, and I think that it's attracting a lot of eyes, and I think it's a great alternative to MMA. And Nunes even had hair. All right. Oh, you know what? I messed that up because I meant to put that. I'm over here pointing out my screw ups, but that's what I do because, you know. But anyway, yeah. Amanda Nunes was there. There was all kinds of people there, and it was just a fun event to watch and for people to, you know, to enjoy basically. And I thought it looked good on TV as well. I mean, it was live on YouTube, so you know, it depends on where you're watching it, but it was a good event overall and exciting as fuck, man. There was so much to, let's see, there's just so much to watch from all of the fights basically. Like there was a lot of action and blood. So yeah, so now see my chat over here. Okay, the chat stuff is still a work in progress. I have the pop out chat though, and I like that. That's working well, so I can, you know, make that go away and bring it back up whenever. So I'm working on a few things just to make things look better. You know, Tommy from the Technically Unsound podcast had been doing that for a while. I like the looks of the chat on the screen, so I'm trying to get that, you know, tied down. I just haven't had the time to really focus, but I'm getting there, so bear with me. But anyway, DBX2, very fun event, headlined by Jairzinho Rozenstruik, whichever way you want to say it, versus Victor Cardoso. It was a great main event, exciting as hell. The co-main was pretty damn good too. Big cut that Alex Caceres got at the end of the fight, but there was action. Like, that's the thing. Even if it seemed a little slow in times, the action would pick up quick, like by the end of the rounds. And that's the thing. DBX Dirty Boxing is 3-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds, and then for the main events they're doing 5 3-minute rounds. So I mean, it's like boxing where it's shorter rounds, so there's a lot of action. We know traditional boxing isn't that exciting because they wait it out, you know what I mean? A lot of times they don't go for broke in the beginning, so that's something that kind of keeps people from, you know, wanting to watch boxing like they used to. But with this, it's a whole different thing. You got elbows involved. You can do ground and pound. There's obviously, different aspects to this, but I went over that before in the past. I went over all the rules and stuff like that, but it's interesting, and I think it's a great organization, and I think it's going to be something that's going to stick around for a while, and we're going to see how big it gets, because I'm pretty sure it's going to grow. It's very exciting. So again, you had Alex Caceres versus Sadikub Kakramanov in the co-main event. That was a good fight. Alex Caceres and Jairzinho Rozenstruik are former UFC fighters, as we know. And then right before that co-main, we had another former UFC fighter in Jessica Rose Clark. And I'm sorry, the fight before the co-main was actually Rob Perez versus Alex Nicholson, which is what I was trying to get to. I skipped over. I don't know why I saw Jessica Rose Clark, but that was a good fight as well. But the Wolf got the TKO. Obviously, I can't show the whole thing, but here's a quick little highlight of one of his biggest shots that led to the end of that round, which was nice. So I had to throw something quick in there because I wanted a little bit of that action going. So that was good. But here's that punch that you saw in that quick little clip on the left-hand side on the top there. Rob the Wolf Perez belongs to DBX because this is his home, man. I don't know how he's not ever done anything like this before, because there hasn't been anything like this before. But I mean, he was a professional boxer in traditional boxing, right? And he did power slap, and he's done I think a kickboxing fight or a bare knuckle fight. But man, he is a standout here in DBX. And I'm not just saying, I am a little biased because, I did the interview with him and stuff, but that's how you get to know people a little more. And for me, he's so goddamn entertaining, and he talks a lot of shit, and I get it. And I wind up not liking a lot of guys that talk a lot of shit, but he backs it up from the get-go. I've seen him back it up. And this is his third fight with Dirty Boxing. It is his third fight against former UFC fighters, and it's his third win in a row. So again, backing it up 100%. His second fight, he wasn't happy with, but he got the outcome he wanted, which was getting the win, but he wasn't happy with his performance. But he still got the win. In his first fight, big knockout. It was fun. It was great. Vicious. This one, crazy back and forth. Alex Nicholson gave him a run for his money. That's for damn sure. So all the talk between them two, it was a lot of bad blood. Infinity said, weird part was talking shit to Perry at the end. Yes, he did jump out of the ring and go straight to the commentator booth where Mike Perry's a commentator, and said some shit to him over there. And Perry didn't let it go, man. Perry was like, I'm gonna have to talk to Mr. Wolf in the back a little later. We're gonna have a talk about this. And then even leading into the next fight, because I went and watched all the fights again in the main card. And he's like, even leading into the next fight, he's like, I'm still bothered by Wolf talking shit to me, talking shit to my face. But that's, Mike Perry is that guy. He's that kind of guy. That's what he does too. So I think it's just one of those things for him. But the thing is, I think he knows he has a star on his hands, because Rob Wolf, hate him or love him, he's fucking entertaining. He's vicious, and he brings out the big show. And if first it's with his hands, first it's with his mouth, then it's with his hands, then it's back to his mouth, just working the mic and saying all the shit that you want to hear, because he just talks mad shit. And again, he backs it up. So what can you say? Until he meets his match, right now he's doing the damn thing. So him and Nicholson went back and forth so damn much. Don't know if he's ready for Jake. Jake who? Are you talking about Jake Paul? I don't know if you meant to say Jake, but yeah, anyway, I'm sure he'll say it. Oh, Jake Paul. Okay, yeah. So he's saying he's not ready. He doesn't know if he's ready for Jake Paul, but yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he was a professional boxer. That is kind of the level that Jake Paul is used to fighting, is kind of where Rob Perez is, as far as how much experience he's had in boxing. But the thing is dirty boxing is his game, man. That you bring Jake Paul over here, he'll get his fucking ass whooped. I'll tell you that by almost anybody, in that organization right now. Infinity said he called him out. That's weird. I didn't actually see that. I must have missed that one. He called out a lot of people. He even went up to John Jones, who's sitting on the side, and said, "You next." And John Jones had a funny ass reaction. But it was so goddamn entertaining. I don't even know. I don't even know what else to say except for just entertainment, man. All of it. And the fight was great. You know, it's not that he was just talking shit and all that. It was that the fight was great. It was a back and forth war. It only went the first round. Again, right here, 52 seconds till the end of the first round is when he caught that Nicholson with that big punch, that big left hand, and that's what stumbled Nicholson. And he followed up with a couple more shots on the feet. Nicholson dropped, and he jumped, well, didn't jump on top of him, but got over him and continued with the ground and pound, which is allowed in DBX, and finished the fight there. Now Nicholson did hurt his knee. I guess he tore some stuff in his knee, which we saw when he tried to get up after the fight was called off and done. He tried to get up and fell back and grabbed his knee. I think it happened while he was going down, after getting, wobbled and dropped. I think his knee twisted a weird way when he was going down, and I think that's how he hurt it. But all of this was still caused by Rob the Wolf Perez. So regardless of any of that, he still gets the big win. It was a legit TKO, and he moves on, still undefeated in DBX, and looking like he might be getting a really big opponent. And when I say big, I mean big name, big in stature, and big stakes, because it sounds like they're going to do a heavyweight title, the first time doing a title. And Jairzinho Rozenstruik was the main event, and he got a big win as well in the first round too. No, it was the second round. And he defeated Victor Cardosa, who, by the way, hung in there for a bit with Rozenstruik. Like he attempted a few spinning back fists that were really close to landing. I think he somewhat landed one of them, but he did land a few good strikes on Jairzinho. And but Biggie Boy is just that guy, man. He's huge, and he landed this big shot, which led to the end of the fight. You can see that picture in the middle. Jessica Rose Clark, who I talked about earlier, also former UFC fighter, looked like she had a damn good time in there beating her opponent, who was Marlia Moraes. She did win by unanimous decision, but that was action all the way through. Infinity says the Aussie would get it. Of course, this picture is the only one that I have that big, and it covers the comment there, but that's okay. I'll get this all worked out here in the near future. But yeah, I 100% agree with you, Infinity. But Jessica Rose Clark put on a good show. It was action through, and it was a good fight. I think this setup is just made for entertainment, and it just works. Now, the picture you see on that far left, that stretched a little further down, is because I just had to get the whole thing in there. You could see the blood dripping from his forehead. This is Eric Moon, and he lost by TKO in the first round to Francisco Trinaldo, who's also a former UFC fighter. And Trinaldo fucking put in work quick. He came out swinging and landing, and then when he got Moon against the ropes, he started throwing elbows right up the middle, passing through the guard of Moon, and fucking just wrecked him. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 elbows in a row that landed, and it was brutal, as you can see, with the blood dripping in his hands as he's looking at it like, damn, I got fucked up. So, oh man, that's pretty much how the whole night went. We did have some eye poke issues, which sounds to me like it's the first time that it's happened since Dirty Boxing has started. Obviously, they haven't had that many events, but their gloves do kind of naturally curve, which is a good thing because it helps avoid those eye pokes. Now, this happened in the fight, the first main card fight between Phil Haas and Sasha Palatnikov. and it was a good fight. They were going at it, but the problem is Phil Haas accidentally caught him with the thumb in the eye early on, and then later in the fight, it was only one round, and later in the round, he actually looked like he was going to set up a combination, and instead wound up kind of pushing off, and it looked like he more just kind of grazed his face. But Sasha right away, you know, his eyes were fucked up from getting punched. So right away, I think he felt pain there, thinking that he caught another finger to the eye. I don't know if they have replay. I think it's too early for that right now, but I don't think they saw a replay or anything like that. But there was a lot of conversation between the ref and the commission, and the refs were mic'd up too, by the way. I think Infinity pointed that out, and I saw that and heard a lot of it after the fact when I went back and watched that the refs were mic'd up, and that's actually pretty cool. You can hear a lot of what they're saying. I don't think the ref during this fight realized that just covering his mic wasn't gonna stop it from being heard, and he was talking to the commission about what to do, and he was just kind of saying it was up to him. So it seemed like he was going to let it go and just call it you know, like a commission said whatever you want to do. Yeah, exactly. So it looked like the ref was just gonna kind of be like, he went in and said that it looked like it was intentional, and then he took it back and said, no, okay, we'll just call it, and it was unintentional. And then the outcome wound up being that Phil Haas got disqualified because I guess they decided it was intentional. So that's a sad way to end that one, because there was action going on in that fight for sure. But we also had Shaven Moraes, former UFC fighter there, defeated Omari Boyd via TKO in round 2. Lamar Brown versus other former UFC fighter Boston Salmon via decision. Lamar Brown wins that one. Milos Janisek and Guilherme Bastos. Janisek wins by unanimous decision there. Luis Saldana also fought in the UFC, defeated Joe Penefel via TKO in round 3. Peter Stanonik defeated John Marquez via TKO in round 2. So, I mean, we had a few decisions, but most of these were finishes. It was a damn exciting event. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I mean, you're going to hear me say it over and over again, but I can't wait till the next one. They're talking about DBX2 happening August 1st, I believe. Initially, they said like end of July, but I listened to an interview with Melky Kawa, who's a part of the head of this organization, and he said it's looking more like August just to get things together, and it might be a different venue, stuff like that. So they're still nailing things down with the entire organization, the broadcasting and venues and all that stuff, but they're putting things together, they're making it work, and these events have been great. So I have nothing but good things to say about this. As far as the broadcast goes, I did see some people complaining about the length of it and the downtime in between and stuff like that, but you know, they're still working the bugs out. I you know, it's not like, man, like Bellator was tough. They didn't fill the space well. PFL still kind of does it too. It's almost like they just don't know how to fill that space well. They don't know how to play the broadcast game well. And that takes some sharpening of the skills, just like it does for me to doing this. I'm still working on things, and I've been at this for a couple of years, but trying new stuff, it always brings some challenges. And when you're a new organization like this with the big you know, broadcast setup and stuff like that, things need to be worked out, and they're making it work right now. So I'm just excited to see it all come together and be a polished, completely polished product. It's just gonna make it even better. So DBX2 was a great event. I hope you watched it. If you didn't, the good thing is you can go back on Dirty Boxing's YouTube channel and go check it out. It's free. It was free while it was live. It's free to go back and watch it again. So I definitely went back and watched everything I missed, and even a couple of the other fights I watched over again. So I'm high on this, as you can tell, and I feel like this is gonna be the other thing I pay a lot of attention to. The other MMA organizations don't they don't excite me much. I don't get into boxing that often, and there's so many different fighters and stuff with every other kind of combat sport organization that it's just tough to keep track of everything. So I'm just this is something I'm gonna probably throw a lot of my attention to next to the UFC, and at least I'll have a a little combination of things that I really like instead of just being mainly into UFC. Infinity enjoyed it as well. He said so on the chat. I have this picture blocking, so I can't highlight it just yet, but go check out Dirty Boxing. I promise you won't be disappointed. It's a good time, and it's enjoyable all the way through. So go check it out. Next up, we have the recap for UFC Atlanta, which, in comparison to Dirty Boxing, yeah, I would say it wasn't the best event, but it was still a pretty damn good card considering the absolute shit show garbage fest that we've seen in the past like month or so. The pay-per-views haven't been so bad, but the fight nights have not been great. So it was good to see Usman versus Buckley at the top of this card. A lot of people talking shit about Usman being completely done with everything because of his bad knees, because he hasn't won a fight in over 3 years, because this, that, and the other thing, right? But I heard some stuff earlier today that proved a good point, which was just that, something that I look at a lot is your schedule, like the strength of schedule. That's just something that you got to pay attention to a lot of times, because yeah, they might be coming off a loss or 2, maybe 3, but if they fought killers in all of those fights, it's hard to just write this person off. When you're an ex-champ and you come in and you fight some somewhat mediocre fighters and you're losing all of those, yeah, pretty quickly you're gonna say, damn, what happened to this guy? But if you got a guy who lost his title in a freak way, which was last minute of the last round of a fight that he was completely dominating in against Leon Edwards, and Leon needed a pep talk to get active and do something in this fight, and then he finally does, and he head kicks and knocks out Usman in the last minute or 2 of that fight, which was insane. It was exciting as hell. It was crazy. But for that to happen, okay, and then he comes back and gets the rematch and then loses again a little more decisively than the way the rest of the fight went for him in the first fight before the head kick. That's one of those things where it's kind of like Sean O'Malley right now. Maybe that guy just has your number. And sometimes the blessing in everything would be for that guy to lose. And that's what's happened now with Usman. And that's what Sugar Sean's going to probably be looking for with Merab. When's he going to lose? And when he does, if he does, then Sean's going to be there to jump right in if he keeps up winning, if he fights good opponents and he wins. Usman has only fought Khamzat Chimaev, which we all know that's the boogeyman. It's one of the many, but that's the name that people go after and look at. And Khamzat only fights every once in a while, and Usman stepped in a late notice fight against Khamzat and did pretty well against him. He didn't get completely dominated. He didn't get fucking run over. He did all right. He had some really good moments in that fight, and yeah, it wasn't a complete loss for him. There was some good spots in that fight. So that's the point that was being made earlier, and that's just from my perspective. I feel the same way. I agree with all of that, is that he has a chance now to kind of make a little run and see what he can do. But he is older. He is a former champ. It did take him a while to get another win, and regardless of all the other details, and aside from all that as well, he's doing his own podcast, which is pretty successful at the moment, it seems. And you always think, does he have one foot out? He might, but he comes up against Buckley, who is a guy on the rise, 6-fight win streak, fucking younger, faster, looks stronger, looks the part, and you know, has been doing very well lately. But he faces one of the top guys in the division because he's the former champ, and he's still around and he's still hanging in there. And no matter how much shit people were talking about him and how washed up he is or how bad his knees are or anything like that, he came in and he did what he does. It's not always the most exciting way to win, but it got him a win. And there were some good moments in there for him. There was some good action in that fight here and there. Very few times, I'll say that. It wasn't the best fight of the night for sure. Although, you know, they were at the top of the card. They went all 5 rounds, and he gets the win. But he looked really good doing it as and you know, that contradicts what everybody was feeling about him. So the takeaway from this is basically that Kamaru Usman is not done. He's not completely washed up. You can say he's somewhat washed up or whatever. You can say whatever you want about him, but he's sticking around for now. He just beat one of the guys. So is he gonna fall into this gatekeeper position where he might lose the next one, win another one against a big name that's up and coming, and become a gatekeeper? Or is he gonna make a little run here and see what he can do to get back to that title one last time? That's the question. And that's where we'll just have to wait and see what comes up next for him. But talk a little more about it when we get to there. I just talked a bunch about it. I don't know what I'm saying. I'll just talk more about it when we get to it. But let's take a look at the rest of the card, starting from the bottom and looking at the first fight of the night with Jamie Lynn Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos. This was basically just Jamie Lynn Horth's fight. That it was her fight basically. Demopoulos, you know, she's active, she's energetic, and she doesn't seem to just fold, but she just doesn't seem to have the skills to keep up with the higher competition that she gets. So in the end, it was just a unanimous decision win for Jamie Lynn Horth over Vanessa Demopoulos in that one. So that takes Demopoulos down to 11-8 and puts her on a 3-fight losing streak. 2 of those losses have been by unanimous decision. 1 has been by a submission armbar. So yeah, that's tough for her, especially because she hasn't really shown a whole lot of promise. She hasn't put together a bunch of wins. I mean, she looked okay for a few fights there, but you know, she's only had like two wins in a row at most since she's been in the UFC, and just losses in between there. She hasn't been able to put it together and really make a run. So Jamie Lynn Horth looked good in this fight. She's up to 8-2 now for her record. That makes her 3-2 in the UFC. She was coming off a loss as well, but that was to Miranda Maverick, who was fighting in this on this card as well. But Horth is one of those win-loss fighters. So she lost her last one, wins this one. We'll see what she does on her next one. Next fight was one of the best of the night, I thought. Fucking fantastic goddamn fight. I mean, I was just like, what the actual fuck is going on here? Because just looking at this picture describes all of it. These 2 pictures, I should say, because you would think, oh, that kind of looks like the same picture, except one's a little more zoomed in. But I promise you, they're 2 different times in the fight, because he held his face like Philip Rowe held Angelos's face like this for I don't know how long, and got off about 5 or 6 fucking punches to his face. You want to talk about dirty boxing? This is like one of the definitions of dirty boxing, like in a traditional style, just holding that face and just cracking him in the jaw, in the cheek, on the side of the head. I mean, over and over and over again. I was going nuts when I was watching this. It was crazy. This was at the end, last minute of the 3rd round when this happened, and he winds up dropping him and getting the TKO win. So Phil Rowe gets that win over Angelosa, and Angelosa's a tough motherfucker too. It's not like this was an easy ass fight for Phil Rowe, but this puts him at 4-3 in the UFC. Two wins in a row for Rowe. 2 wins. That's tough to say. 2 wins in a row for Phil Rowe. It's 1 submission and 1 TKO win here for him. And Angelosa was coming off a win, I thought. And no, he was coming off a loss to Gabriel Bonfim, but that's a fucking tough opponent. So that's 2 in a row for him, unfortunately. Before that, he had that no contest with Brian Battle. But yeah, I'm sure he'll get back on his feet. He's definitely got a lot of fight left in him, and he's only 31, so he's gonna make it back. We've seen him do really well in the UFC, so I think he's gonna just find his footing, get back in that win column, and bounce back. So we'll wait and see how that goes down for him and who he gets next. Next up, we had Ricky Simone versus Cameron Smotherman. Again, this went to a decision, but you know, there was some good action in this fight. Ricky Simone, you know, he can kind of do a little bit of everything. As you can see, that big takedown on the left side, and then the big punch to the forehead on the right side. That's a crazy picture. Those are, I call these face smash pictures. That's what I title them because I put titles for everything just so I know what picture is what. And this is what I call a face smash. It's just I don't know, because it looks like his face is just crushing, and it's crazy. But that's a dope picture. So props to whatever photographer took that one. I love it when they get shots like that. But Ricky Simone gets the big win here by unanimous decision over Cameron Smotherman, who looked good in his last fight. Ricky Simone was coming off a win over Javid Basharat. That was a first round TKO win for him there. And now he gets the win over Cameron Smotherman by unanimous decision. That puts Smotherman down to 1-2. Oh, that's right, he did lose his last one. So all 3 of his fights in the UFC have been by unanimous decision. He looked good against Jake Hadley, but yeah, he's lost his last 2. I think he can turn it around. Hopefully he gets another fight, and we see, you know, with a different style opponent, maybe that'll be a little better for him, and we'll see him get the win column and maybe turn it around. But yeah, moving on to the next fucking great fight that happened on this night. As you can see by those pictures, this one was a banger. And I mean, it was 11 seconds into the second round. Jose Ochoa gets a big TKO win over Cody Durden. The one of 3 fights from Cody's on this card, which is crazy. Cody Durden, Cody Brundage, Cody Garbrandt. And you'll soon learn that all 3 Codys did not have good luck this night. But we started with Cody Durden getting a second round TKO loss to Jose Ochoa with this big punch that he dropped him with. And then, as you can see, he's laid out and caught him on the ground. That big left hook took him out. He gets a performance of the night bonus for that big win over Cody Durden. He's 1-1 in the UFC now. His only other fight was a loss to Loner Kavanaugh back in November of last year. And Cody Durden is let's see, 6-6 now in the UFC. That's his second loss in a row. As obviously this one was a tough one for him, but his last fight was against Joshua Van, who we've just seen do really well. Has another fight lined up already. But yeah, fuck, he's 4 out of his last fights for Cody Durden have been losses, and they've all been finishes. Oh no, he lost by unanimous decision to Joshua Van. The rest were finishes. All 2 TKOs and a sub. So Cody Durden, yeah, he's gotta turn things around. So good luck to him on that one. Next up, just banger after banger in these prelims. I think the prelims were definitely the highlight of this card for sure, with all these fights in the lower levels that were just showing out. And Malcolm Wellmaker, who we pretty much expected a huge fight and a huge win for, and he pulled through with all of it. He got that big win in his last fight, that one punch knockout against Cameron Simon in the first round back in April, and everyone was excited to see him come back and fight so soon after. So what we're looking at, less than 2 months later, he's in this fight, which he's from, I guess, Augusta, Georgia. So, you know, Atlanta's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away, it sounded like. So pretty much his home state, at least, and close enough for people to come watch him. And a lot of people were feeling it. He came out to some good Atlanta music, and yeah, he did his thing. 2 minutes and 37 seconds in the first round. Took a little longer than the fight against Simon, but I mean, he fought, I would say, a more durable opponent this time with Chris Moutinho, because if you remember him, he had green hair when he fought Sugar Sean O'Malley, and he took a crazy amount of punches that you were just like, how come this guy doesn't fucking go down? And even Sugar was like, what's going on here? He went the distance with Sugar Sean, and some people thought he actually won that fight just by, or thought he deserved to win that fight just by being so durable, and he actually landed some good punches and put in some good work against Sean. But obviously Sean was on the rise back then, and yeah, there was no pushing him to the side. So he did get the loss against that, got down in a big way because he got knocked out in his next fight, and then he comes back to fight, finally comes back to the UFC, because he was out after that second fight in the UFC that he lost by KO, and comes back, and he has a hell of an opponent in Malcolm Wellmaker, who quit his job after his last fight, you know, bought his mom a house and stuff. It's like or not bought his mom a house, but no, that was Joshua Van. He quit his job is basically what it was, because so he could focus completely on fighting. He got the bonus. My dog's barking. All right. Okay, he's done. I'm like, damn. As soon as I start talking, he barks again. But yeah, so that was a cool story to hear from him. And then, you know, everyone's thinking, okay, is this like a one-time thing? Is he gonna show up and do it again? And he fucking did, against somebody who people thought, oh, I don't know if he's gonna be able to knock this guy out with one punch like he did against Simon. But he showed that he could. And man, that is a scary right hand that he lands on people. Can't hear the dog. Good old pod mic. Oh, nice. I'm surprised, because usually when he barks, you can hear it. But yeah, and it sounded loud. I was like, damn, I thought it sounded like he was right outside my door. But good, I'm glad you couldn't hear it. So yeah, Malcolm Wellmaker, man, you got to keep an eye out for this guy. If he's fighting, sit down and watch it, because it's impressive what he does. He gets first round finishes, and they're explosive. I'm talking like walk away KOs. He's undefeated, 10-0 overall. He is now 2-0 in the UFC. In the Contender Series, he also won with a right hook in the first round. I mean, he's only got a couple decisions on his record. The rest of them are KO, TKO wins. It's crazy. He has a submission mixed in there too, but let's see, it said 10-0. Was that an amateur fight? I just saw a loss on his record. Yeah, it must have been an amateur fight, I think, that he lost there. But anyway, he lost by sub. So the one loss that they're showing is by submission. So that's something that people are wondering, how's he going to do against a good wrestler and a good submission artist. So we'll see when he finally matches up with an opponent that has a good ground game. He said that a lot of this camp for him was focused around wrestling and grappling and jiu-jitsu, that he was kind of pissed that his coaches wouldn't let him train striking, and he said he was kind of getting bored of everything else, but he was working on it. So hopefully that means he's got some decent skills to defend the takedown and the submissions, and be able to get it back on the feet and win like he knows how to. But we'll see what happens with his next fight and how quickly he fights after this. I'm sure it'll take a little more time this time, but you never know. But that's Malcolm Wellmaker beating Chris Moutinho in the first round with a one-punch KO. Badass fight. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So next up, we had a couple vets. Court McGee versus Michael Chiesa. And I'll be 100% honest. I didn't hear much about this fight, so I didn't even think to go back and watch it. I think I caught very little bits and pieces of it, and it didn't look like the greatest fight ever. But I mean, it's been a long time since you've seen big explosive fights coming from either one of these guys. Michael Chiesa, I'm kind of surprised he's still fighting. He's been working the desk for the UFC for some years now. He's 14-7 overall. This does make for his third win in a row, though. He got that submission against Tony Ferguson, a submission against Max Griffin, and now a unanimous decision against Court McGee. Court McGee was coming off a win over Tim Means by submission, but now he's got a loss again. Before the Tim Means fight, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. So yeah, Court McGee is looking like it's tough to put some wins together for him. So, and then he fought someone kind of the same caliber as him, with being an older vet in Michael Chiesa, with a lot of fights, and still came out on the losing end. So that's tough for Court McGee. We'll see what happens with him. Let's move into this weirdo fight that happened. The last prelim. I do not know how to even begin to talk about this one or explain it. So if you remember, Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato was scheduled previously, and the fight got canceled because Bellato had herpes. He had a herpes outbreak, apparently. I don't even know the details on it. I just know, damn, like, that sucks to have to, you know, cancel your fight because of that. Probably good for Paul Craig that he didn't have to deal with that, but yeah, and it was like last minute dropping out of the fight. They wouldn't let him fight because of it, so they rescheduled. And once again, okay, here's the thing. Bellato, to me, I was like, dude, this guy's kind of fucking weird. Like, I don't understand. Like, he's so nonchalant, standing there like all, you know, chest puffed out next to his two like trainers or coaches or whatever in the picture, where it's like, sorry guys, I had a herpes outbreak and I had to, you know, it's just so fucking, I don't know, man. So the dude just like seemed weird to me as it was. I mean, he's a pretty decent fighter. He's got some good skills. It's not like he's a scrub or anything, but it's just so weird to me. So Paul Craig, Bear Jew, we know this guy. We know he's a damn good submission artist, and he's got some striking. So this fight was like a weird fight to begin with, and it ended in the weirdest way possible. At the last minute of the first round, you know, Paul Craig's trying to get Bellato to the ground because that's his game, is on the ground. Submission artist. He's got great submissions. He's got a lot of finishes by submission. So we know that Paul Craig likes to be on the ground and work that ground game. And he's trying to get Bellato down, fails on the takedown attempt, and Bellato turns him around and winds up on top. And the time's winding down. We know this because we hear the 10-second clap. And next thing you know, you get an up kick from Paul Craig as he's trying to break out and get off his back or get Bellato off of him. And he winds up kicking Bellato in the face as he still has a knee down. So according to Paul Craig, he said that it looked to him like he stood up, but he probably just saw the one leg that was actually basing out to stand up. So he misread the situation, threw an up kick and caught Bellato in the face. I mean, it wasn't like the most flush kick ever, but I mean, he did kick him in the face. And Bellato falls backwards, and as he's falling backwards, throws his hands up to the ref as he's like falling back, and then he falls all the way flat on his back and looks like he's out, like he got knocked out. And I don't know if he slammed his head on the canvas and he was kind of dazed from the kick, reacting to it, and then slams his head on the canvas and actually goes out, or this dude is a damn good actor. Maybe not good, but or he's very confident in his acting skills, because he lays there for a couple seconds like he's out cold. The ref's waving off the fight, and then he pops up like a weird zombie and starts like scooting backwards to the cage, looking like he's still in the fight. So the ref kind of looks at him like, what the fuck? And then he goes over to him, and then he starts trying to wrestle the ref. He's trying to grab his ankles and pull his legs down, and he's like trying to grapple with the ref, and he won't stop. And it's so fucking weird because he looks completely coherent, but he's doing this weird shit and not realizing, and he keeps making eye contact with the ref as he's doing all this. So everyone's like, what the fuck is actually going on here? Don't know. I don't know if he was faking it. I don't know if it was real. Maybe he slammed his head on the canvas when he fell backwards. I don't know. But if it looked real, shady. So I think he was just trying to get out of shit and get the win. In the end, no matter what was happening or what you think, this wound up being a no contest. Nobody wins. And yeah, it was just a shit show. So that's how we ended the prelims going into the main card. So now let's move into that main card and see what happened there. First fight on the main card, Alonzo Menifield versus Umar Sy. This was a pretty good fight. I was actually watching with this one, and I mean, I felt like it was a pretty decent fight. As a unanimous decision win for Alonzo Menifield. I mean, when I say a decent fight, it's just there was some good skills being showed, whatever. I don't know. You can take what you want from it, but Menifield gets the win to make it 2 in a row for him. 2 decisions in a row, even, because his last win was over Julius Walker, which was a split decision. But that was a fight of the night for him. So that was back in February. And now he makes it 2 in a row by getting the win over Umar Sy, who didn't look too bad in this fight, but that puts him at 2-1. He gets his first loss in UFC. And he has wins over Tukos, and Dawoon Jung. And he unfortunately for him, loses to Alonzo Menifield. And that puts him at 2-1 in the UFC. And 11-1 overall. So that was his first official loss. He was completely undefeated in his MMA career as well as the UFC. So Menifield dropped that O, and that was it for that fight. Next up, we had Mansour Abdul Malik versus Cody Brundage, the second Cody fight of the night. And again, if you heard what I said earlier, all the Codys lost. So this is the second of the 3. And Cody Brundage suffers a loss to Mansour Abdul Malik. Apparently, this was a technical decision due to Cody Brundage suffering a cut from a headbutt. And because this was in the 3rd round already, they went to the scorecards because they said they wouldn't let him continue to fight. So it winds up a technical decision, a unanimous win basically for Malik. And he improves to 9-0. So he keeps his undefeated record. That makes him 9-0 overall and 3-0 in the UFC with wins over Dusko Todorovic, Nick Klein, and now Cody Brundage. So he stays undefeated. Cody Brundage goes to 11-7. He was coming off a win over Julian Marquez, and now he's got this technical decision loss to Malik. So we'll see what happens there for his next one, and if Malik meets his match in the next one. But you can see that middle picture too, that front kick. That reminded me of the Anderson Silva and the Anderson Silva versus Shogun, and then who was the other one? Lyoto Machida, when he did that front kick too. I guess Michael Chandler versus El Kukui. The fuck is his name? I just said his name earlier. Anyway, those front kicks, but he didn't get the same outcome. He didn't get the knockout win off of that, but that was a cool picture, I thought. So anyway, Malik with the win there. Let's go to the third Cody, Cody Garbrandt, with his new look, sporting the cornrows with the face tat, over his eye, man. I don't know, man. I don't think this is a good look for Cody at all. Between the hair, the eye tat, I don't get it, man. It just, he looks like, the makeup you put on like a jester. That's kind of, or just some like worn out old ICP fan that took it too far and got the tattoos or some shit. I don't know. Insane Clown Posse, if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's gonna age me there, but yeah, I don't get it, Cody. I don't know why you did this, but and then the hair would have been fine without the tattoo, but both of them together makes him look just strange. So regardless of any of that, he winds up losing by unanimous decision to Heoni Barcelos, who looked pretty damn good in this fight. But I mean, Cody, he just hasn't been showing up the most lately. I mean, as far as how, yeah, I don't know, man. He's one of those guys back and forth with wins and losses since he lost his title. But this makes a three fight win streak for Barcelos. Cody Garbrandt drops this one to make it his second in a row. You know, he lost his last fight to Davison Figueiredo. So here we go again with the strength of schedule. He did lose to Davison Figueiredo. He beat Brian Boom Kelleher. He beat Trevin Jones, but he lost to Kai Kara France and Rob Font. So again, upper echelon of the division, he's not doing well against the mid-range guys he can get wins off of. So I don't know if he'll be able to turn it around. I don't know what his plans are. But I think we're coming to a point now for Cody as to whether or not he wants to continue just kind of being the, you know, mid-level tier fighter guy that, you know, kind of can beat that level of fighters, but can't really fight and win against the upper levels of that division. So it's tough to say because I like Cody in his heyday, but I don't know, man. Nothing's working for him right now. So moving on, we got Edmund Shabazian versus Petrovsky, Andre Petrovsky. And Edmund Shabazian comes out with the unanimous decision win here too. And if you didn't notice, we obviously have an all decision win main card, which sucks after the way that the prelims went, because the prelims were so exciting, so action packed, good knockouts, good fights, even if they weren't finishes. And yet then we turn to the main card, which is all decisions. I was hoping for at least a good submission win by somebody, or maybe just one knockout, one TKO, but it didn't happen. But Shabazian versus Petrovsky kind of got what you would think you'd get out of this fight, back and forth battle. Shabazian comes out on top and gets the win. That puts him at 8-5 overall in the UFC. That's his second win in a row. His first win was against Dylan Budka in that series of wins for him. Got the performance of the night bonus there with the TKO win, and now he gets a unanimous decision win over Petrovsky. And Petrovsky was coming off a win over Rodolfo Vieira and now has a loss. So kind of a 3-fight win streak and then a loss and then a win and then a loss. So we'll see if he continues that pattern or starts to put together some wins, or maybe even a losing streak, which would suck for him. But I'm not ready to count Petrovsky out yet. He's still got a lot of fight in him, so we'll see what happens next. And now we get to the co-main, where we had Thug Rose Namajunas making her comeback here. I mean, I wouldn't, this wasn't like the most impressive complete fight, but I do feel like a little bit of the old Rose came out. She, got her striking looked a little more clean, a little more, on point. She got the ground and pound going. I mean, overall, Miranda Maverick is a beast. She's been doing pretty well before this fight with a 4-fight win streak. All of those being decision wins except for one, but she hadn't lost since early 2023, and that was to Jasmine Jasdavicius, and she's got wins over Priscilla Cachueta, Andrea Lee, Diana Barbosa, and Jamie Lynn Horth. So and then she meets Rose Namajunas, who last fought against Erin Blanchfield, who is now looking to be a big contender, but she did lose to her in her last fight, November of last year. And, she struggled with the wrestling and grappling, and that's what I talked about, on the lead up to this. And I was worried that was going to be a problem for her. She is good on the ground with her submissions, but she doesn't do well against a very dominant grappler. So it seems, but this time she did. The only thing is, I heard today that apparently Miranda Maverick tore her ACL in the first round. So that might have had a big impact on the fight, but you never know. So you kind of just got to call it what it is. Props to her for continuing on and being able to battle all the way through all 3 rounds and, not get knocked out or have to quit. But, I'm sure that affected her performance. But, as for Rose, not taking anything away from her, she looked a lot better than she, has in some of her previous fights where, she lost. And especially against, like I said, Erin Blanchfield, who's a somewhat of a similar fighter to Miranda Maverick. You know, similar enough to be worried about what Maverick can do to Rose as well, being that she can do a lot of similar things that Blanchfield can. Maybe not on the highest level, but yeah, I mean, look how big Miranda Maverick's leg is and that kick in the middle. Like, damn, that girl is got some yeah, she's got some muscle. That's a gigantic leg. And you know, Rose isn't the biggest person, but she definitely has the skills and backs him up, you know, backs it up. And we've seen her with the head kick knockouts. We've seen her with the submissions and everything like that. So former, you know, champ two different occasions. She's been a champ. So again, are we going to see a little run out of her coming up here? I mean, was this a fluke because Maverick was injured? I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Rose. I think it was a really good win for her and a good performance. And it's just unfortunate for Maverick. So props to her, though, for getting through it, like I said. And yeah, we'll just see what comes up next for these girls. And then we get to the main event, which, you know, I talked a lot about on the lead up as far as takeaways go and stuff like that. But those are just my thoughts when it comes down to it. You know, Usman made it through against a damn good striker who, you know, Usman could have trouble with if it, you know, if Buckley would have been able to stay away from getting taken down. But that's the problem with Usman, is he's such a fucking good wrestler, man. He can take you down easily and he can hold you there. It may not be Khabib level kind of, you know, grappling and dominance, but still he dominated Joaquin Buckley down there. Buckley just couldn't get out. You can see the frustration on his face in that far right picture up there. Some of that ground and pound going on in that middle picture, and then some strikes landed by Usman on the feet. But yeah, it's like all you can really say about this is Usman looked a lot better than we expected, or what most people expected. I wasn't sure what to expect. You know, you hear all the stuff about his knees, but we've heard that forever, and he's done well, and he's been that way since he was champ, since before he was champ. So the knee thing is just something for people to talk shit about. But him being completely washed up, I think he proved that he's not. He's still got some fight in him. So Buckley being on the rise that he was, I think that kind of makes a bit of a statement that Kamaru's definitely still able to compete with the younger, you know, higher level guys. And let's see, I think Buckley was on a 6-fight win streak. His last win being over Colby Covington. Got the win against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Nursultan Ruziboyev, Vicente Luque, Alex Morono, Andre Fialio. I mean, shit. Those are all good names. And Buckley was on a good run since May of 2023. He's had those 6 wins. And then he comes up against the former champ and loses, you know. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get submitted, but he got dominated. He did well in that 5th round. His conditioning is pretty damn good considering he came out in the 5th round and was able... right on, Infinity. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the interaction. Thanks for the support always. Come back Thursday. But yeah, so I mean, Kamaru did his thing and was able to come out with the win. Buckley was dominated, but still showed some decent, still showed some decent life in the 5th round. So his conditioning's there. He's not, it's not like he's done. He's still young. People want to talk a lot of shit when somebody loses after being on a good run like that, but it is what it is. This was considered the fight of the night. I was going to say that earlier, but I doubted myself. I should have stayed confident in that because I knew it. But yeah, they called this the fight of the night. I'm not really sure why. I didn't think it was really the fight of the night, but big names, main event, I guess they give it to them. So yeah, that was your UFC Atlanta recap. Before I forget, I want to take a look at the fight wheel predictions, and as far as how it went for that, we had Cody Nolov winning according to the fight wheel, and that was incorrect. Kamaru Usman winning, that was correct. Alonzo Menefield winning, correct. Miranda Maverick, incorrect. Cody Brundage, incorrect. And Andre Petrosky, incorrect. So we had 2 of the 6. So once again, 2 for 6 for the fight wheel predictions. So fight wheel's not doing great right now. But at least I know, leaving it up to chance, it's not that I'm that horrible. It's just that there's that easy chance that you get the majority of them wrong. That's just me trying to feel better about myself in that. But yeah, that's it. UFC Atlanta over. Next up we have hold on, let me get to this before I forget. Next up we have UFC Azerbaijan Fight Night. That is happening on Saturday. So there was some rumors going around that the main event, Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill, that Jamal Hill refused to get on the plane and make it to Azerbaijan. But yes, he missed his flight, I guess his initial flight, but he did get on the plane and he is now there. Khalil Roundtree is talking about the jet lag being a pain in the ass, being how far away they are. And I understand that. Hopefully he's better by the time the fights come around, and seems like Jamal Hill is about a day behind on recovering from that and acclimating. So that might be something to consider with that main card. In the prelims, we got Muhammad Usman fighting down there. Who else? Oh, Iron Turtles fighting, and Oban Elliott. So those are some good fights in the prelims. In the main card, Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Moda. Curtis Blades fighting Kuniev. Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. That's going to be a banger. And then your main event, Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Definitely going to be some good fights coming up. That's a great card. So in Baku, Azerbaijan, I guess. So that's the first time they're going to be there. So check that out on Saturday. But before that, come back on Thursday for my full preview on that. And I'll talk about any other combat sports news that have been going on around the combat sports world. So that's it for me. Another episode in the books, Going Around's podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. I'll do all the good stuff for YouTube to support my channel. I appreciate all the support already. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Come back Thursday. Peace.